And now Lisa Desjardins dives into Michael Bloomberg's complicated and at times controversial record.
Activist, billionaire, big city mayor, and occasional subway rider, Michael Bloomberg is many things at once, including now both disruptor and established politician.
The momentum in this city is the legacy that we're really leaving.
I, Michael R. Bloomberg, do solemnly swear.
Bloomberg began his 12 years as New York City mayor as a Republican in January of 2002.
So help me God. Thank you.
Mere months after the September 11th attacks shook the city's heart.
He's definitely what New York needs as far as finance goes. Like, after September 11th, we definitely need more commerce, more business in New York.
18 years later, that image of a deliverer is one Bloomberg's running on.
He took charge, becoming a three-term mayor who brought a city back from the ashes.
By the end of the Bloomberg era, more than half of New Yorkers polled said the city's economy was doing good, and about a third believed quality of life was better. There was wide approval of some of his initiatives, like banning smoking in restaurants and adding miles of bike lanes. But other Bloomberg policies stirred discontent or outright protest, things like his failed proposal to ban large sodas. His extension of stop and frisk police tactics, which targeted mostly Black and Latino men, was deeply divisive, both then and now. Bloomberg renounced stop and frisk late last fall, but just 5 years ago defended his approach as appropriate.
95% of your murderers and murder victims fit one MO. You can just take the description, Xerox it, and pass it out to all the cops. They are male, minorities, 15 to 25.
I am committed to using the...
Supporters point out that Bloomberg has spent millions aiming to lift up marginalized communities, but critics say words like those belie a deeper problem. And yesterday, BuzzFeed News reported that last year, Bloomberg seemed to scold Democrats who campaigned for transgender rights. He said, "If your conversation during a presidential election is about some guy wearing a dress, that's not a winning formula for most people." Above all, Bloomberg stresses he is a man who knows how to get things done, one of the world's most successful businessmen. But here, too, are questions. Multiple news stories, including a recent Washington Post report, have highlighted profane, sexist comments he made while leading his namesake financial data company, Bloomberg LP. Bloomberg denies that and told the hosts of ABC's The View last month that women thrive in his workplace overall.
I think you talk to most women in the company, they would say equal pay, equal promotion, equal opportunity. It's a great place to work. Did I ever tell a bawdy joke? Yeah, sure I did. And do I regret it? Yes, it's embarrassing, but, you know, that's the way I grew up.
His company is also under scrutiny because the Bloomberg LP news operation has a policy of blocking any in-depth investigations of Bloomberg or his primary rivals. He told CBS this.
People have said to me, how can you investigate yourself? And I said, I don't think you can.
But even your own news reporters have complained. They think it's unfair that they're not allowed to investigate other Democratic candidates because they're bosses in the race.
You just have to learn to live with some things.
Okay.
There are some billionaires.
Bloomberg's opponents have not held back their criticism.
I got news from Mr. Bloomberg, and that is the American people are sick and tired of billionaires buying elections.
Bloomberg's team rejects this and defends him as someone doing the hard work. He's visited 25 states so far and 60 cities, and he's campaigning on his past national activism, especially on guns and climate change. His biggest pitch, maybe the biggest question for Democratic voters, does past accomplishment guarantee success in November?
For a closer look at the man shaking up the race for the White House, I'm joined by Eleanor Randolph, who has covered Bloomberg's mayoral career as a member of the New York Times editorial board and is the author of The Many Lives of Michael Bloomberg. Thank you for joining us, Eleanor. Let me just ask you right away, why do you think Michael Bloomberg is running?
Well, he's always wanted to be president, and he even talked about running for president when he was in college, and he looked at the races. 2016, he looked very seriously at the race, and then he didn't run. And I think, actually, in March, he decided he wasn't going to run. He decided that, the numbers weren't there. And then his people came back to him and said, you know, what's happening in the old blue wall, the blue states, you know, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Trump is winning. So why don't we get out there and go after him? So Bloomberg decided that he should be the one to do that.
Let's talk now about how Michael Bloomberg is running. He's spending a lot of money. I spoke to his campaign today, and they confirmed he now has 2,400 campaign staffers in 43 states, has spent at least $400 million. That's according to the most recent analysis, likely a good deal more than that. And that is just in a handful of months that he's actually had a presidential campaign. Can you talk about how Bloomberg leverages his resources, his money, and also his personal alliances from being a top Democratic donor?
First of all, he's worth over $60 billion. Many of the ads that people have seen have been anti-Trump ads, and what Bloomberg is trying to do is soften Trump up for whoever is the Democratic nominee to run against him in November.
I'm curious, what do you think he thinks of the optics of him running as a New York billionaire at a time when Democrats are trying to take out another wealthy man from New York and who criticize President Trump as being out of touch because he is a man of such wealth? How does Michael Bloomberg see those optics regarding himself?
Well, you know, I mean, he sees himself as a different kind of billionaire and a different kind of businessman. And also, he's promised that he's going to give away his money before he dies. I don't think that Donald Trump has come anywhere near that. And so, I mean, Bloomberg's philanthropy has been vast, and it's been very pointed, even more than the political money that we've started to see now. So I think Bloomberg sees this money as a way to deal with some of the problems of the world, like climate change and gun control and Donald Trump. So, you know, he's spending whatever he can to try to get Trump defeated. And he said no matter who on that stage ends up being the nominee, he's going to support him.
What do you think is Michael Bloomberg's biggest challenge?
He's not a great speaker. He's probably not going to do exceptionally well in this debate tonight. And there are some other ones. There's one in South Carolina. And he doesn't, unlike Trump or Bernie Sanders, he doesn't connect with an audience. He has to sort of explain to people that he's Mr. Fix-It. He likes to get things done. And he would, if he were president, it would be a quieter presidency. And maybe there's some people that want that. He's an ex-engineer. Well, he's, you know, trained as an engineer. He doesn't show his emotions very much or very well. And you don't see him hammering the podium. You don't see him sort of raising his voice to the crowd. He'll never be that person.
Eleanor Randolph, biographer, journalist, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.